NewsNation's Hannah Brandt is live in our nation's capital. So Hannah, President Trump really digging in here. Start with last night's Super Bowl halftime performance.
Yeah, Nichole, I think you touched on an interesting point, which is that the Bad Bunny halftime show really became a political flashpoint before the artist even stepped foot on the field. And President Trump really didn't seem to be a fan. He was quick to react after the show. He took to Truth Social, as he often does, to share his thoughts, and he called this show an affront to the greatness of America and a slap in the face to our country. He wrote in the post, quote, "Nobody understands a word this guy is saying, and the dancing is disgusting, especially for young children that are watching." Now, Bad Bunny has criticized the Trump administration in the past, right? Remember, he endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris in 2024. He said "ice out" at the Grammys just days ago. But this Super Bowl show really wasn't overtly political. It was all in Spanish. It showcased many themes from Bad Bunny's birthplace, Puerto Rico. That's, of course, an American territory, though. And the closest that he really got to diving into politics at all was when he said the only English line in the show, "God bless America." And then he listed all of the countries in the American continent, seeming to sort of expand the definition of what is typically thought of as America. He held up a football that read, "Together we are America." And many said that his show really was a reflection of pride and patriotism in its own right. Senator Ruben Gallego called it beautiful. He said it was the most Latino thing he had ever seen on TV, adding that he and others were tearing up watching it. But many prominent conservatives say they tuned out altogether. They skipped Bad Bunny's show and instead watched the Turning Point All-American halftime show. This was a performance that was organized right when Bad Bunny was announced as the performer, right? It was meant as sort of counter-programming to the NFL show. The president actually didn't even say whether he watched the Turning Point show. Of course, we know he watched Bad Bunny's performance, though, Nichole.
All right, and Hannah, there was also some backlash to at least one Olympic athlete criticizing U.S. policies.
Yeah, that's right. This controversy started on Friday. Reporters were asking U.S. athletes exactly how they feel about representing the country at a time when the Trump administration's immigration enforcement is drawing really a lot of backlash on the global stage. Now, here's how freestyle skier Hunter Hess responded.
I think it brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. I just think if it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S.
Now, Hess wasn't even really specific about what policies he didn't like, but President Trump did attack him online, calling Hess a real loser, saying it's too bad he's on the U.S. team, writing, quote, "It's very hard to root for someone like this." Now, other conservative leaders really piled on with their criticisms of Hess and his statements that he made, though he isn't the only U.S. athlete voicing criticism of the current U.S. policies at this year's games. And he's actually far from the first athlete to use the games to make a statement on politics. Many Americans probably remember the iconic images that came from sprinters Tommy Smith and John Carlos raising their fists after they won gold and bronze medals in the 1968 Olympics. Those moves represented Black solidarity at a time when the U.S. was really being torn apart by protests over race. Now, people may remember Smith and Carlos were really widely vilified for their actions. There was a backlash to them doing that, and they were even sent home early by the U.S. Olympic Committee. Nichole?
All right, Hannah Brandt live for us there in D.C. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.